Okay, hello everyone and welcome. Apologies for the previous technical glitch that we had. And right now I'm joined by our regular contributor, son of Sparda. The
Hello.
topic is DCU versus MCU, and we are just few days away from the release of Superman here in Saudi Arabia. So, son of Sparta, can you please take us through what's going on right now?
Oh my gosh. So, like you said, we're days away. We're checking all the cinemas on a daily basis, waiting for tickets to go on sale. Very excited. Would have loved for some of these vendors to have some popcorn buckets for us to buy, but sadly, we're not getting any. Even though they've been dozens upon dozens of designs for Superman, for crypto, for dispensers of whatever sodas, liquids, for popcorn, for snacks, all those good things. And this is just water being, I'm sorry, money being wasted that businessmen are not taking advantage of. So our money is here. We're waiting to spend it. Just get it over here, and we'll buy them. So that is something that's waiting to be tapped, the whole market in its own. What else is happening? So we're waiting for that to drop. Hopefully, in the next couple of in 2 to 3 days at the most, we should be starting to see tickets. In fact, Empire Cinema, I think they're the first cinema here in Jeddah to open their tickets for pre-order. So anyone who is interested in going there, we're typically we gather at other places just because it's between the north and south of Jeddah. So
Yeah.
all our groups tend to meet at this one specific place that we go to. Um, what else? Fantastic Four comes later in the month. Looking forward to that. Lots of, I believe the promotions are starting to roll out for that. They're going to start doing red carpet events. So lots to look forward to this month.
Lots to look forward to. Okay. And
Speaking of popcorn buckets, I'm going to throw this in real quick. There is an $80 Galactus head that is said to be the biggest popcorn bucket ever made. And I think its eyes light up, so that's pretty cool.
do you think, because if I'm not mistaken,
Hmm.
that promotion is exclusive to AMC cinemas?
It could be. I forget to check which cinema it was because in the states they have AMC, Cinemark, Regal, and a couple of other places that I can't recall. But those are the big ones. And since we do have AMC here, you'd think that they could just bring over a couple of their very popular or the ones that are in popular demand popcorn buckets for people to buy because people seem to like them when we do get a few of them here. See, people seem to like them.
People love these sort of things, the kind of fan base that we are having over here. It's
Yep.
just unbelievable because we are not seeing, like you said. I mean, I'm really glad that you mentioned that the local businesses are not taking that much of an interest, or even international businesses that have a presence here.
Yep.
I have yet to see a promotion from AMC, from any other cinema, even movie which is like very has been going pretty aggressive.
Man, I have to tell you, like a couple of years ago when I was in the States, you'd walk into an AMC theater and they would have T-shirts, they would have pins, they would have keychains of whatever big blockbuster summer movie you're going to see. They would have throw blankets and pillows, um, so many things on sale. And the least we're asking people is the popcorn buckets. If you can get shirts, I'm sure people would also love to buy shirts for them to if they were to go to the next showing of the movie or the next day with their friends, whoever friends didn't get to go to the first showing, they'd love to have their shirts on. So they could say, "I got this at the very first day, dude." For the Star Wars Episode 7 premiere, it was one of the biggest openings of any movie. I think it's in the top 10 of most grossing movies of all time. They had a coin at AMC cinemas in the States that said premiere showing, and I still have it somewhere. But it's one of my most prized possessions. I could say I went to opening night of Star Wars Episode 7, so it's little things like that, and it was absolutely free. They gave it to everyone who was going in, and I think the most thing we get here are posters, which are nice, but I feel like there's so much more that we could get for these movies in terms of merchandise.
Mm, I just don't know what people are thinking, what these businesses are thinking. To be frank, I mean, like uh, we have been receiving premieres after premieres, and it's not like they don't prepare in advance for these sort of things. And everybody knows, everybody realizes. I had the chance to get in touch with some of the people who are connected with the cinema here, the cinema, various cinema outlets over here, and I mean, they, when you are chatting with them, when you are talking to them, they seem to show that they have the knowledge about these two movies, that these are potential blockbusters.
Yep.
Now, uh, when the merch has been announced for like I don't know how many months ago we came across the Galactus bucket.
Oh, at least a month and a half to maybe 2 months ago.
So why haven't we seen anything happening on AMC's side of things? Because I remember it clearly, that AMC is the exclusive seller for these Galactus buckets. No other cinema chain in the US.
Yep. Yep. As far as I know, now it could be that a subsidiary company has bought the name of AMC to have them open cinemas here in the Middle East. I'm not too privy to how the business side of it works, but I feel like they have the name, they have the posters. They could work out some deal to get us the popcorn buckets, the shirts, keychains, just a few very simple things, and people will get excited. People will eat it up. I'm telling you. I mean, especially opening weekend. Get enough merchandise. Like they should try it out. I'm not sure if they have yet or not, but they should try out, especially for these huge blockbuster DC, Warner Brothers, Jurassic Park movies. The things that we know will make big money.
You, what's the situation right now? I mean, like when you are coming across your friends and family, wha- how are they preparing actually for?
Um, Most of my friends have their shirts ready. Um, they're just excited for the tickets to go on sale. We're hoping there'll be posters there. I mean, I feel like that's the most of what we can expect for now. But I know some people who've been reading up on their comics, going back and watching some of the animated movies, some of the live action movies. A couple of my cousins, who are a bit on the younger side, are still pretty big fans of Henry Cavill, and that's okay. You can still be fans of Henry Cavill and hopefully still be a fan of David Cornspan once we get to see his movie. There's no one law that says you can't be a fan of every Superman actor. We haven't seen the new movie yet, and hopefully, we're hoping for great things out of it. There's so many characters in this movie. I can't see how you can't be excited for any one of them. Whether it's Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, Mister Terrific, Metamorpho. I think it's the very first time we've seen him in live action. Whether it's on the big screen, the small screen. I mean, we've seen him in cartoon form, but never in live action before.
Metamorpho, you are right. We saw him in Justice League animated series,
Yep.
and I believe it was Justice League Unlimited.
Yep.
But what I'm thinking right now is that the opportunity cost for all of this. Because
Yep.
if you are not primarily benefiting your business yourselves with the opportunity that's at hand, correct me if I'm wrong, if opportunity cost is the right word for all of this, how, I mean, what's the reasonable explanation for this?
I feel like people are just now starting to see how big these movies can be. I feel like maybe the last really big movie we had that had an impact over the weekends, and we started to see crews show up to interview people once they were going into the movie coming out, was Deadpool Wolverine. I feel like I don't think I've seen the cinemas in every street corner be as full as it was that night. I feel like we saw every screening sold out, and that's something you don't see very often. Um, so this is a movie, maybe not as hyped as Deadpool and Wolverine, just because people love those two characters and people love Superman. But this is the reboot of an entirely new universe. The last couple of DC movies, I don't think they broke half a billion, as far as I remember. The last couple of 3 to 4 DC movies, whether it was Aquaman 2, whether it was what was it, Blue Beetle. So this is an entirely new cast. It's an entirely new universe. It's an entirely new um, people who are shepherding this new universe. James Gunn, Peter Safran, and his entire team of writers are planning the next 10 years, and this is the very first movie in that new universe. So hopefully it'll be a great sign of things to come. So hopefully people are as excited as we are.
I don't think I agree on this part that that this movie is not as hyped
Mm,
when it comes to when we compare it with Deadpool and Wolverine.
yeah.
So we have been seeing this. Uh, what's the thing that it has been promoted adequately. We
Yep.
have seen trailers after trailers that are coming in, that are building up the excitement. Uh, Slowly and steadily, we came to know that initially we only saw, if I'm not mistaken, Guy Gardner and Hawk Girl and Mr. Terrific. Even Mr. Terrific was teased. Later on, he
Yep.
was revealed. And then we have uh, Maxwell Lord coming in, who who is being played by Sean Gunn.
Hmm.
Then we have uh, which other major character that we did come across in this regard?
I guess
Ultraman.
Lex Luthor. Yep.
Ultraman.
Ultraman. Hmm.
Ultraman. So
And then I would say there's a mystery character in a big suit that we're not sure who this person is yet.
the guy in the
Remember that?
big purple black suit with the U on it, isn't that
Well, no,
Ultraman?
no. Aside from Ultraman, there was a guy in a big brown suit and a huge helmet, who was shooting beams out of his eyes. He was in a very quick clip, but
Okay.
we
Okay.
still we don't know who that is yet.
Yes. 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 I remember
Mm,
that.
mm.
So 5 days. How many days left for this release of Superman? It's
So,
going to be released in Saudi Arabia on the 10th. Is it final or not?
yep, the 10th, and according to showings on Empire, who are the first cinemas to offer tickets, they're having late night showings on the 9th.
Late night showings at night time.
Yep.
Empire is at Andalus Mall.
Yes.
Now, we've been having our watch parties
Mm.
at AMC,
Yep.
and there might also be a possibility that we might get invited to the premiere. But
Oh.
yeah, I'm working
Mm,
on that. Let's hope something happens.
mm.
But I don't know, man. I mean, like, today is the 5th,
Yep.
and if it's the first late night premiere is going to be happening on
The ninth.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, I think,
Wednesday.
or
Wednesday.
is it Wednesday? Ninth is on the Wednesday.
Yep.
S- I, nothing has been announced. Do we see
As
any
far as
popcorn
uh,
buckets? Do we see any giveaways? Do we see anything from any cinema till now for Superman?
man, I haven't even seen billboards. You know how there's the huge building with the screen on the side of it that has
Yes,
advertisements. We haven't even
yes.
seen that, and I think maybe we started seeing that for Deadpool and Wolverine. I think a day or two before the actual showing of the movie. So I don't know if this is the exact same case. If they're waiting till a couple days before, if they're waiting for the tickets to maybe go on sale, because like I said, they're not public on sale yet. So I don't know.
Only Empire is offering to the public, right?
Yes, yeah. So we're
So
waiting on movie. We're waiting on AMC, and we're waiting
really,
to see if there's going to be a premiere. Has it been confirmed that there is going to be a premiere, or
no, there will be a premiere because
okay?
I mean, like, look, Italia Films Middle East, which is
Mhm.
the distributor for Marvel and Disney.
Yep,
Okay, they are hosting one premiere after another.
nice.
Let's just forget that, put that on the side. I mean, How to Train Your Dragon, you saw the premiere for it in Riyadh. I mean, they had the entire Kingdom Tower branded with How to Train Your Dragon.
Wow,
So I'm the low key mood that I'm seeing,
right.
okay, when it comes to Superman right now, it's quite puzzling. And this is even more surprising because uh, we are basically like we are like few days away, and like you said that we are not having even uh, the ad appearing on the Faden building, on the side of Faden building.
Yep.
Initially, I think there was a short promotion when they did this worldwide Superman promotion thing. So I might be mistaken. But right now, the social media in Saudi Arabia is pretty quiet for these cinemas. And right now, it's a bit worrying for me. Why? Because if Empire Cinemas is allowing people to book advance tickets, that means that the movie has been cleared from the censors.
Absolutely.
Okay, then where's AMC? Where's Movie Cinema? Where's
I mean,
Vox?
the good news is they all have it as coming soon, as opposed to other movies where it's a few days before and they don't even have it on their coming soon section. So for whatever reason, like you said, it's been approved. We're hoping today, tomorrow, hopefully no more than that, because I feel like people want to buy their tickets right now.
And what's the mood within the community? Because right, last time when we had our live broadcast, you showed
Mm.
your Superman T-shirt, and you mentioned that all of your group is going to be wearing different iterations of the Superman logo. One would be the Death of Superman logo, the other one would be
Yep.
the classic, and so forth.
Yep.
I'm going to be wearing my Joe Schuster art of
Nice.
Superman from the, I think it was from 1940 or 41, I think.
Nice. Very
So I'm
nice.
going to be wearing that shirt to
Yep.
honor Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster.
Yep.
And anything else that's happening from the community side, I did come across some cosplayers in Jeddah. They
Yep.
are very much into DC and Marvel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and they are basically hosting a watch party,
Mhm.
okay, where people can come and dressed up as their favorite character from Superman or DC in general.
Very cool.
So but again, they haven't
Mm.
decided on the venue. They haven't, because they are, it's a purely community led event, whereby they are first of all going to agree on the venue, and then
Yeah.
later on they will decide the date and everything for it.
Man, can I just share with you something that happens in the states? And this is
Sure.
only in major cities like New York, Chicago, whatnot. So some cinemas, and this is a very limited kind of thing that happens. But every time there's a new Avengers movie, they will say we are doing a Marvel marathon for every Marvel movie from the beginning until now. And people are staying in there for I don't know how many hours. I'm sure it's over 2 days to maybe 3 days. How long it takes to play all these movies in a row?
Yes.
But
Yes.
people buy their tickets and they go in and they say, "I'm going out for break. I'm coming back. I'm going to see the next movie. Maybe I'll skip that movie." So that's how much the hype is for these movies. And I know it's a brand new universe, but would be nice to see some fan favorite DC movies. Something to get people gathered together, to get people excited. This would have been a great time to have a convention around July because we're having all these comic book movies.
Convention, I recently saw a post by Saudi Events, which was really really surprising, that they are basically announcing all the events that are happening in Riyadh and Jeddah.
Yeah.
Nothing on Comic Con, nothing.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. Um, Man, I mean, whether it's in Riyadh, Jeddah, in the East Coast, we just want it to happen again. Wherever it is, fans will be excited. They will flock to wherever place in the country it is. We just want it to happen again because it was something that was bringing the community together. It was creating a lot of jobs, and it put us on the map for a lot of people in the industry, for artists, for TV and movie stars to come over here and get to meet the fans. So it was very exciting for a very long time, and hopefully at some point it'll come back.
Let's see, let's hope,
Mm.
because this this is frankly not, I won't call it an ideal. I mean, I keep on repeating myself again and again. I mean, the opportunity is there, people are there, the community is there. I decided to do a marathon on my YouTube
Yep.
for all the content that we did for Superman, and we're just not getting any activity, uh, any initiative,
Yep.
whether it is from the local setup or whether it is from the global setup. And
I,
I was
I
hoping that today we might be coming across uh, a lot of new posts, excitement or stuff or things like that, but till now nothing.
Two things I wanted to mention real quick. I posted this in our group that for those who collect figurines, we talked about 1/6 scale Superman, the new one, David Cornsweet by Hot Toys, but also a company called InArt is also doing their own iteration, also 1/6 scale. So collectors on various groups are very excited about those two. But also in terms of getting together with the community, I'm wondering if one of the venues that offer private screenings and they say you can pick your own movie. I'm wondering if we can get together and talk to these venues and say, can we book one of these screens and for the community and say we want to watch Man of Steel or Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, which is a fan favorite, and just ask how many people are interested in going. We'll see how many people come, and usually our get-togethers, we have a very nice number, a reasonable number of people come. So maybe we can get something going for that. We'll see.
the private screenings are there, but
Yeah.
I doubt that they will be able to, play a movie at our request, especially the one
Hmm.
that has been released in the past because of the rights and all that. They need
Yep.
to get in touch with, if we like want to watch Richard Donner cut, they need to get in touch with Warner Brothers Pictures, and
Yeah.
if they give go ahead, then it's doable. But again, I mean, like the private screening bit is. It's pretty limited, because when I went, when you and I were discussing last year, I think it was, yeah, before Deadpool and Wolverine movie, the
Yep.
capacity is pretty low for that.
Yep.
I mean, like 10 people, that's it.
Yep. Yep.
So, I mean, okay, I understand, like some people, they want a very tight knit group to be
Yep.
watching their favorite movie.
Yep.
Uh, and at the same time, I mean, like it doesn't have that cinema feel. Why? Because when I checked out their lounge, it was looking like as if like it's a home theater system, if you will.
Mm.
Yes, they have the big screen and everything, but the
Yep.
seating setup and everything, it doesn't give you the cinema feel.
Yep.
And then at the same time, the cost for that
Yep.
is quite a lot. So at least, uh, man, it's I'm totally at a loss for words right now. Totally at a loss for words. I This morning, I when I woke up, I was thinking that maybe I'm going to be seeing something announced or something like that, and I'm pretty shocked right now. I mean, I'm looking at the date again and again and again. Today is Saturday, 5th of July, and the movie is officially supposed to be released on the 10th.
Yep.
We had way more for even a movie like the Thunderbolts,
Yep.
Brave New World.
Yep.
And I doubt that people who are actually responsible for distributing Superman movie in Saudi Arabia would be so. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Um, I don't know if it's something with Warner Brothers or if it's the distributor. But by the way, these screenings they've been doing across the globe. From what I've heard, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. From what I've heard, it is just the first 30 minutes of the movie. So, and then recently they've been doing private screenings in the US, but they've been under embargo. So people will go see the movie and they give their impressions. And so far, I'm hearing pretty good things about the movie.
Even from the ones who that was arranged by Amazon Prime.
No, that is going to happen, I believe, on the 8th.
Okay, that's gonna happen on the 8th. Okay.
Yeah.
But
So,
right now,
mhm.
these screenings that you're talking about, people are giving a lot of positive feedback for that.
Yes, so those were for people in the press, influencers. They were invited to a very limited number of screenings across the country, and they were under embargo to not talk about it except give their impressions of the movie. So I'm not sure when the embargo lifts. So for those who don't know, embargo is a legal contract where they cannot talk about the movie in detail. They can only say their impressions of the movie, whether they liked it, whether they didn't. Otherwise, they might get sued. So that's why we haven't heard any details. There are no spoilers on the internet yet. No one from the public has seen it yet. That will happen on the 8th. So for about 2 days, 2 or 3 days, if you care about spoilers, probably stay off the social media and the internet as much as possible. That's what we like to do.
Okay, we've discussed
Mm.
a great deal concerning what's going on at the local front. Now let's just talk about the importance of these two movies.
Yeah.
This is the war of reboots.
Yeah.
Is it the right thing to call it?
Let's do one at a time. So for Superman, it's an entirely new rebooted universe. We're coming, and again, we're coming off the heels of a universe that was liked by some people, not so liked by others. A universe that was dark in tone, in picture, as opposed to now we're seeing very bright colors.
Yeah,
We're seeing a lot more humor than before. I don't think in the entire Snyderverse, I don't think we saw maybe two or three jokes in the entire universe that was going on. So we're getting a lot more humor, a lot more very bright and vibrant colors, which is very nice, a very change of pace. Um, so it's got a little bit to make up for, but it's also got a lot to pave the way forward for all the movies that are coming. So next year we're gonna have, I believe, the movie that's been shot and done and in the can is Supergirl, and that's the official name of it. They're no longer calling it Girl of Tomorrow,
right.
uh, starring Millie Alcock and Jason Momoa as Lobo.
Lobo.
We've been that, and we've been told that is his dream role.
Yeah,
Before he was cast as Aquaman, he's always wanted to play Lobo. He's got a stack of comic books at his house of Lobo, so can't wait to see that just for that sake of seeing Jason Momoa as Lobo. Um, we've got lanterns coming. We've got they're going to be casting a Batman actor for the Brave and Bold. The title's been confirmed, nothing else. So hopefully that means we'll also get a Robin for the first time since Batman and Robin back in the '90s, I believe.
yeah.
Um,
Chris O'Donnell, Robin.
yep, yep. So many things are dependent on this movie not necessarily being a huge hit, but at least being liked by the people. So if you like this movie, because it's going to set a precedence of every movie moving forward. If it's good, if people at least like it, you will hopefully like all the movies that are coming afterwards. If you don't, Warner Brothers is going to be in a little bit of a tough spot where they're going to be trying to make up for it because they put a lot of work. They got the biggest director and writer they could in James Gunn to be the head of this studio. And he decided he's going to do this himself. He's going to write it himself, direct it himself, maybe even produce it himself. I'm not sure if he was a producer or not. Probably is. But he put so much of himself in this movie, and we're gonna see that because he's given us nothing but hits after hits with all the Guardians movies, all three of them. He gave us the Suicide Squad movie, the most recent one, that was far better than a lot of other things we got from DC in the past. So I feel like he's given us nothing but great things, and I believe I've been told, even though it's not uh, shown in Saudi Arabia yet, hopefully it will. But this is the most expensive promotion they've done for a DC movie ever. Because as you've seen, they've gone around the world promoting the movie. They're not done. They've got a couple more stops. So they put a lot of money into. I believe, from what I've heard, it was in the ballpark of 200 million to promote this movie.
I it's it's believable because I mean just look at what they did in a place like Manila.
Yeah,
Who thought that Manila would be such a huge fan base for Superman? I mean, did you check out
loads
the
of people
cosplayers?
dressed in full Superman outfits.
Exactly, exactly. And then for DC to go all the way there, I mean, their primary focus in the East was in Manila, and the other
Yeah,
side they were in Brazil,
yeah,
in Rio,
and most recently in London, I think.
in London as well. But
Yeah,
the community
mm,
participation that we saw in the Philippines was just mind blowing. I mean,
yeah,
uh, if anyone is a Pinoy right now who is watching our live stream, I mean, we have to congratulate these guys for putting up an amazing show.
yeah.
And the way they showed their love for the Man of Steel, that's just wonderful.
Yep.
Okay, so you've mentioned about Superman, and it's pretty logical. Why? Because in light of what we saw in the past, many projects that happened, it's not just the Snyderverse. There was the Brandon Routh Superman movie. Okay, and before that we had the Christopher Reeve. There were many TV adaptations of Superman.
Yep.
Um, Fantastic Four. Do you think this is like more positioned towards rebooting the MCU?
Man, the Fantastic Four is a tricky one because they've done this. They've done four Fantastic Four movies.
Hmm.
Um, I think the first one with Jessica Alba was the most profitable.
Okay.
The second one, not so much. It didn't do as well. But none of them were highly received by critics and fans alike. I think that Marvel Studios is yet, until we see this movie, is yet to capture that magic that made this the very lovable family. So I feel very confident after seeing these trailers. Um, it is well established in the larger MC universe that this is going to be part of that. And I've nothing confirmed, but I've heard that Reed Richards is going to be the main focus of the next Avengers movie. He's going to be sort of leading the team. Because if we look at the Avengers, they're really, I mean, they're none of the core. I mean, Thor's going to be there,
Yeah,
but
but
there's.
Thor is going to be killed off based on what we heard.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I hope not. There's been
Did you?
talk, by the way, to that end, I'll tell you, I've
Okay,
heard talk of possibly Chris Hemsworth is very unhappy with how his last portrayal of Thor was in Love and Thunder, and he wants to make a serious Thor movie. So I don't know if he's going to get killed off and come back. What's going to happen? But he's very intent on fixing whatever mistakes happen. He leaned too much into the silly tone of Thor in the last Thor movie. Um, so hopefully we'll get to see a more serious Thor at some point. So we'll see Reed Richards. We'll see the new Avengers. We might possibly see members of the old Avengers. And um, I feel the most thing people are looking forward to is seeing the new iteration of Doctor Doom, played by Robert Downey Jr., and how that's going to play into Secret Wars moving forward to the year after.
but it brings me back to my original question. Sorry for interjecting, but
Oh, it's
it
fine.
brings me back to my question, and that
Yeah,
is that. Uh, Let me just rephrase it.
yeah,
Is the Fantastic Four going to deliver just like Iron Man delivered?
yeah.
That's my question.
I think, and I apologize for putting the question on side for, but I just have to mention when Iron Man the movie came out in 2008. Robert Downey Jr. was not a household name. He had a few roles here and there, and he was put in prison for a couple of years.
Yes.
And then, the folks over there at because it was initially a Paramount movie, they saw something in him. They hired him. He was the one who made the movie what it was. And so, if we look at the Fantastic Four, it is the cast. It's also the story. It's how it's all going to come together, and it's all going to depend on how it connects by the end of it to the larger MCU. So I believe we have something very big here and a fantastic cast. Pardon my pun, but we've got Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby. I feel very apologetic because the rest of the cast names escape me right now. Evan Moss. Uh, and then I forget the name of the gentleman who plays the Human Torch, Johnny
Joseph
Storm.
Joseph Quinn.
Yes, thank you. who did a great job in Stranger Things, I believe, right? He was in Stranger Things, and people started to take notice of him. But I think we have a great cast. There are a few people. I forget his name. There was one person, really big actor, who we only got a glimpse of, and we don't know what his role is in this movie. I'll see if I remember his name. But we also got a few glimpses of a proper Galactus. He's no longer a huge cloud that's going to be flying over, the planet. We're going to see a proper Galactus with his proper huge helmet. One criticism I've heard is that um, people think Galactus is a little too small.
Little too small.
Yeah, people thought he would be bigger. He would be the size of a planet. Uh, I mean, we'll see. I'm sure Marvel play it out somehow, whether he changes sizes or whatnot. But he's pretty big compared to the Statue of Liberty, compared to all the buildings he's walking by. He's a pretty big fella. So, well,
No, but
I mean,
I'm surprised people are complaining about it because
yeah,
Galactus, I mean, as a being, is able to adjust his size,
yes,
his height,
absolutely. Yep,
according to the
yep,
planet he is intending to devour.
yep,
Uh, this is the canon. This was canon from the beginning when Stanley
yep,
and Jack Kirby
yep,
did their coming of Galactus story, and the same thing was repeated by John Byrne and who else? Jonathan Hickman and everybody. I don't
yep.
think Jonathan Hickman did a Galactus story, but what I'm trying to say is, I mean, like, why people are complaining about it? That's pretty puzzling for me.
And I'm sure he'll change. I feel very confident in that Marvel has some secrets they don't want to reveal just yet. And of course, from the title, First Steps, we knew it was not about Galactus's steps in the streets of New York. We're going to be seeing for the very first time Franklin Richards in this movie.
Yes.
He's never been shown in live action form before, so we'll see. And in some iterations, he is the most powerful, whether they're going to call him a mutant or just a superhuman meta or something. He's a person of fantastic powers, and we're going to see how those powers play out in this movie, and why Galactus has deemed this version of the Earth, this dimension or this Earth, to be devoured. Whether some theories have been floating around is that it's because of Franklin. For some reason, he was drawn to this planet, so we'll see if that's true. I feel like there's a very compelling story, and at some point, we're going to talk about this very quickly. Is that Reed says that he drew the boundaries of science and that called out to I guess Galactus. So he blames himself. I guess we saw those in the trailer, and we'll see if it is his fault, if it's Franklin's fault. But he doesn't even seem sure that he can save everyone. They told him, can you save us? And he said, I don't know. So we'll see how this plays out. It's always good to have some uncertainty. But we do know by the end of it, whether it's the end of it or the middle of it, at some point they are going to travel to the main timeline in their spaceship.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's something we saw in the post-credit scene of Thunderbolt slash New
yeah,
Avengers.
yeah.
Right
Oh,
now,
one.
yeah. Sorry, please.
Oh, I'll just mention. I think another thing we're seeing for the first time. Their little butler robot Herbie is
Hmm.
adorable,
Yes, no
and
doubt, no
and
doubt.
they've made. I can't remember what cinema made this in the U.S., but they made a version of Herbie that carries your drink and carries your popcorn. And I feel like if I were to have just a week to track it down, I'm sure it's sold out by now. I would love to have that popcorn bucket.
Okay. Now let's just recap. Basically, in terms of where every movie is going to lead to. So in Superman, for example, we are seeing the Justice Gang, which will then form into the Justice League.
Yeah,
We saw Maxwell Lord.
yeah,
We have seen Lex Luthor,
yeah,
and obviously, I mean, like it's Superman is going to be directly connected with Wonder Woman movie.
yeah,
Sorry, Supergirl. My
yeah,
apologies,
yeah,
Supergirl movie. And then you have so many of streamings uh, programs that are already planned and are going to be
yeah,
published by the
yeah,
companies. So Superman is leading to multiple fronts. It's like a
yeah,
total revival of a DC universe, and a proper DC universe, a
yeah.
universe that's not in isolation. Like, for example, Nolan's universe was in isolation.
Yes.
It
Uh,
was a standalone universe.
as well as Matt Reeves' universe.
Matt Reeves' universe, and even Tim Burton's Batman.
Yeah,
That was also in isolation. So this is going to
yeah,
be a first time that we are going to be seeing an interconnected DC universe, and it
yeah,
will all start from Superman.
yeah.
From Fantastic Four, yes, the MCU is already interconnected and everything, and all the characters are there and so forth. Uh, you highlighted one of the bits that Franklin Richards, is he going to be outed as a mutant or what? So what are the streams, or what are the strands, or what are the threads that you are seeing that this movie is going to take us to? Of course, Secret Wars and Doomsday is a given, but what
Yeah.
else?
So let's start off with Superman. So next month, we're not going to have to wait too long. Is season 2 of Peacemaker. And we
Right.
are going to see uh, Maxwell Lord. We're going to see the Justice Gang in Green Lantern, Guy Gardner. We're going to see Hawk Girl. Whether we're going to see more characters, hopefully we do. But we do know there's going to be a little bit of a multi-dimensional aspect to this show, where Peacemaker meets himself from a different universe.
Right.
And whether he meets other characters, we'll have to wait and see. But the good thing is, it is next month. It comes out in August, so that's not too long of a wait. Hopefully, um, uh, Supergirl is in the can. They filmed it. They've wrapped. They're in post production right now of editing it. So that's coming next year. Other than that, they are in the process of casting Batman for the Brave and the Bold. They're in the process of casting Wonder Woman. The one project that I don't think has any cast yet, but James Gunn has been very verbal about saying that he loves the Authority.
Right.
Uh, so at some point, I feel like we're gonna get a live action version of it, but nothing confirmed yet. People are, I feel, most excited about hearing casting news about Batman. People have hinted towards Alan Rickson, I believe his name is.
Yes, Alan
Um,
Ricks.
yep, he's been asked about it multiple times in interviews, and he said, "I would love to play Batman." One person who I would be in favor of that, by the way. But also, one person I would love to see is God, the I forget his name right now. The guy from Supernatural. Was it? I forget his name. The older brother from Supernatural, but he has already played Batman in the animated universe in the Tomorrowverse movies. So he has done such a fantastic job, and he's been asked about it multiple times at conventions. So either one of these gentlemen would be great. I'm sure if they go in another direction with someone else, that would also be. But those are the fan favorites right now. James Gunn was asked multiple times about a specific actress for Wonder Woman, and her name is, I believe, forgive me if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, Adria Arjoa, I think.
Adriana de Armas, I think.
Oh, something like that.
Yeah.
She was most recently in Andor, Star Wars Andor series. And I think I believe he was asked very recently about what do you think about her as Wonder, and he said, "Well, she would be great as Wonder Woman." So nothing confirmed. She has a long list of things. You can check out her IMDb about the projects she's been in. But
Is it is it Anna de Armas?
no, no. I feel like she would probably be in that conversation.
Right.
But this she is also dating Jason Momoa,
Okay.
so she's sort of already in the DC universe, kind of. But
Right.
but those are things we're looking forward to. Again, the trinity of Batman, Superman, but also James Gunn has already said, we've talked about this. The pillar of DC universe is Batman, Superman for his universe. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Supergirl. So we should be hearing a lot of news about. We already have Superman and Supergirl. Hopefully, sometime soon we'll be hearing about the other two, Batman and Wonder Woman. So those are the things we have to look forward to sometime soon in the not so distant future. For Marvel, they are taking things in a different approach than what was going on with the previous administration over at Marvel Studios. They've decided they're going to focus on quality over quantity, which is great.
Right.
Because Phase 5 was not so well received.
Yeah.
So I think after Fantastic Four, we are not going to be getting another Marvel movie until Doomsday.
No, no, no,
December.
not Doomsday. It's
Hmm.
Spider Man. Spider Man, Brand New Day.
I mean,
Brand New
did
Day
they?
is gonna be May.
Oh, oh, they moved some things around, right? Because Spider-Man was supposed to be taking place after, so they're saying Spider-Man might happen before Doomsday. Okay.
Yeah.
Um. So next year, hopefully, Spider-Man. You said in May, and then in
Yes.
December we're gonna be getting Doomsday. Um. So we'll see how that plays out because originally it was supposed to be Doomsday first in May, I believe, and then Spider-Man. So I think they're going to be doing some rewrites to fit these two movies back some way, somehow. Uh, but I'll also say this: there's been talk that they want Spider-Man to be in Doomsday. Tom Holland still doesn't have a signed contract. Um, so there's some sort of legal thing going on. Because as you know, Sony owns the rights to Marvel to Spider-Man being on the big screen. So
Right.
there's something going on where they're trying to work out the rights to get Spider-Man. Hopefully he is, because I feel like as much as we're excited for this movie and the many confrontations that'll happen, I feel like nothing will top Peter Parker seeing, his father figure, his mentor for years, Tony Stark. Well, the face of Tony Stark being the face of the new big bad of the MCU.
That's going to be a huge shocker.
Yeah.
That's going to be a huge shocker. And it will be
So
interesting to see how his reaction is captured in the movie.
absolutely. I mean, out of everyone who, because Cap's retired. I don't know if he's even still around because he was like, I don't know, 80 years old or something when we last saw him in
Right.
Endgame. Hawkeye, I don't know what's going on with him. Um, who else? Natasha's dead. Uh, who's left? Hulk is wearing his Hawaiian shirts now, and he's a
Yeah.
father. Uh, they
She
just threw that at us at the end of She-Hulk at the very end.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess people who will be most shocked to see Victor Von Doom or whoever Doctor Doom's name is going to be is Pepper Potts and Peter Parker. I feel like those, and maybe Tony's daughter. Uh,
Yes.
those will be the most shocking moments I feel to see.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Interesting. My thing is that I just want to see how Fantastic Four builds up towards the mutant saga.
Oh, dude. I mean, I feel like because they've been avoiding it for so long, but I feel like this is the time where we finally start to hear. some news about, well, they've already confirmed we're going to see mutants, not just any mutants, the original 20th Century Fox mutants. We're going to have Professor X, we're going to have Magneto, we're going to have James Marsden come back to play Cyclops,
Right.
and there have been some pretty solid rumors that say that Hugh Jackman is coming back.
But Hugh
Mhm.
Jackman is coming back. I mean, like Hugh Jackman is still part of the MCU, or he wasn't taken out of it.
He wasn't taken out. You know, they brought him back for Deadpool and Wolverine. And he said his goodbyes. He never said I won't ever be back. So he's somewhere in that universe. To have the original X-Men team without him would just be awkward. So I feel like they need to get Faminka Jensen back. Again, I might be pronouncing her name wrong. But we need to also get Storm Halle Berry. We need to get her back. And she's a huge name now from when she was doing the first X-Men trilogy. But I'm sure they can work something out with her. I feel like she loves the character, and people love her as the character.
Yeah, but till now, I think she has denied her involvement with Doomsday, but we don't know if she's going to be making an appearance in any other movie. And it's the reason I'm very much keen on this one is because whenever I see Franklin, okay,
Mm,
I'm always reminded of the story Days of the Future Past.
mm,
Days of the Future Past from comics.
yeah.
So in the comic books, you had basically Franklin Richards,
Hmm.
along with Kitty Pryde, along with Wolverine and Storm, and I think Colossus was there also. They
Yeah.
were leading the resistance
Yeah.
against their persecutors, against the Sentinels,
Yeah.
against the human government who was persecuting mutants and all that. So from that point onwards, it's like Franklin Richards was always a special case for me when I read that for the first time.
Yeah.
And for me, I always recognized him as a mutant, and the same thing was explored in X-Men Onslaught. When Onslaught,
Oh, I
uh,
was just gonna say, man, I hope they bring Onslaught into this.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Mm,
There's just too much going
mm,
on, and that's why I personally feel that this is even though we have a Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's properly structured, it's in place for more than a decade, but I
mm.
think this movie is going to reboot, rejuvenate uh,
The
the,
X-Men.
the cinematic universe that has become stagnant over the years,
Mm,
especially after Endgame and
mm,
Spider-Man
mm.
uh, No Way Home.
Yeah. If anything, because the X-Men actors, I feel like they at some point they need to introduce us to a whole new generation of X-Men, or the X-Men to a whole new generation of fans. So I feel like the actors are getting up there in age. As much as we would love them to continue until they're 90, um, I feel like they've been talking about a reboot. I worry about them. Maybe killing off the universe where we saw Photon in at the end of the Marvels, where
Yes.
we saw Kelsey Grammer's Beast. That is, I believe, the proper X-Men universe.
Yeah.
So I feel like, if anything, they might completely obliterate that universe and say, okay, we're going to start off fresh with a brand new team of X-Men and new actors, everything. So that is one theory. Um, we'll see how it plays out. But one thing I want to see, not a big thing, but I
Mhm.
want to see Storm rocking that mohawk. That
The quintessential 80s Storm.
Yes, please, please. I feel like, if anything, we got to see that Days of Future Past mohawk.
Yeah, man, you brought back a lot of memories.
Yeah,
The first
and
my first ever X-Men comic had was part of the Mutant Massacre from Jim Shooter era, and it
Yeah.
had Storm with the Mohawk.
Yep. Yeah. We got to get that. I don't know if we get, the version of Wolverine. I mean, that was a different story where one of his arms is cut off, and he's got the claws, but they're coming out of sort of
That's the
a
Age of
patch.
Apocalypse. That's the Age
Yep.
of Apocalypse Wolverine.
Yep. Well, does Days of Future Past lead to Age of Apocalypse? If
Completely different
mm,
timeline.
okay,
Completely different timeline.
okay,
Age of Apocalypse
mm,
basically comes into existence
mm,
because Professor Xavier's son, who is
mm,
Legion, travels back in time
mm,
uh, to kill Magneto, as he
okay.
believes that Magneto is the root cause of all his misery.
Mm.
Uh, and
But he
Legion
ends up
is,
killing
and
Professor
he ends
Xavier,
up
right?
killing, yes,
Mm,
Professor
mm,
Xavier.
mm,
When that happens, immediately the entire universe shatters.
mm, mm,
In comes this universe which has Apocalypse,
mm,
the absolute ruler of the world,
mm.
and doing persecution of humans and the mutants who oppose him. So that's where the Age of Apocalypse Wolverine is seen first time. By the way, I have the first ever issue of Weapon X. Weapon X was the one
Nice.
where Wolverine, Age of Apocalypse Wolverine makes an appearance. I
Right.
don't know if I can show it to you right now. Bear
Sure.
with me for a minute.
Sure. I'll just mention to our viewers that Hot Toys is making an Age of Apocalypse Wolverine. So if you guys are interested, oh, I think it was a sort of a limited release. So you might find it on eBay right now because I think all major retailers have them listed as sold out. But it looks like a fantastic figure. His hair is all everywhere. He's got the claws coming out of both hands, even though one of them is cut off. It's a pretty cool looking figure. Representation of the movie, the version that we saw.
So this
Oh my goodness.
right here, you're looking at Weapon X #1,
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
and it's near mint.
Yep.
Alhamdulillah.
Hummed.
Uh, since I think I have it since 95 or 96,
Oh my goodness.
94, 95, something like that.
Man, we
And
can open a museum with all the stuff you got there, your comics.
bro, I think the museum bit is you are more eligible for that based on the
Ah,
collection you have, mashallah. So anyhow, uh, let's just bring this live stream to a close.
okay.
Uh, Now the next live stream is going to happen in August, and we are going to be discussing the effects or the repercussions of these two movies. Uh, so pretty excited. Let's hope things become clear for us here in Saudi Arabia concerning the premiere of Superman sooner rather than later. And may we all have a wonderful time
Oh,
watching the Superman movie and the Fantastic Four movie.
we didn't talk about what we're going to be wearing to the Fantastic Four premiere, or the movie.
No, no,
Um,
we did last month in our last month's broadcast. You actually showed the T-shirts for both Superman and the Fantastic Four.
oh, but also in addition to the shirts, I got a little special item on the way.
You really?
Uh,
Is it the mask of the thing? Oh man!
It's coming.
So you're gonna be doing a proper clobbering time, huh?
Oh, not the thing. I'm sorry. We were being a little too vague there. The Doctor Doom helmet.
Oh, the Marvel Legends Doctor Doom helmet.
Yeah.
Well, we are definitely going to be having a look at that, especially when we go for the Fantastic Four movie. You just really like that's a wonderful announcement, and let's call it a day then.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks a lot, as always, son of Sparta,
My
for
pleasure.
you know sharing your opinions, sharing your reviews and expectations and everything.
Yep.
And to each and every one of you who was watching our live broadcast on X and on YouTube, thank you. And we'll be back next month, where we are going to be discussing the effects of these movies after we've watched them. So till then, have a wonderful time. July is pretty exciting. Let's hope we get a share of that excitement here in Saudi Arabia.
Flame on!